Today is September 30th, 2022. I am your host, Isaac Foxx, and this is Action Wrestling News, the show that gives you wrestling insight, news, and opinions daily. So today, it's going to be a pretty simple show. We're going to go over some news for today, and we're going to just do a review of Extreme Rules. As you know, Extreme Rules will be next week, October 8th. I'm assuming they won't be adding any more matches to it. Hopefully not. I mean, they shouldn't be, since they have a week out. Next week is the go-home show. That's when they should, promote the matches that they have. I believe they only have like 6 matches, but we'll get into what I think, my predictions, who I think should win, who probably will win, and all of that a little bit later on into the show. We're going to speak on some AEW ratings and a few other things here. But first, got to take care of a little bit of housekeeping here. If you would like to support the show, you can go to actionwrestlingnews.podbean.com to donate. You will see a link that says support the show at the top. Also, the best way to support the show is to share this show with all your friends and give us a review. If you would like to contact the show, you can do so by sending an email at actionwrestlingnews@gmail.com. So let's get into some of the news for the day. According to the Wrestling Observer, there's going to be a documentary on Vince McMahon. It looks like Vice is going to be shooting the documentary. Apparently, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez were both interviewed for the film. The movie itself is going to debut in October, so later on this month. Honestly, I'm curious on what kind of how can I put it? What kind of leeway or allowance did Vince McMahon give? Because this is Vince McMahon. He does nothing if it's not going to put himself in like a positive light, especially now with the fact that he basically had to resign from WWE as the CEO or as the chairman, and that's why we have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan in charge. He basically had to essentially quit because of the scandals that's going on and the hush money scandals and all of the different things that are going on. And the fact that we're already doing a documentary, and according to the Wrestling Observer, the documentary is going to involve his career and the scandals that's going on. But I could have sworn that the scandals are it's an ongoing investigation. So I don't know how that works. I maybe the case is closed. I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, I think I would have seen that, but we'll see. I will definitely be watching that. And man, Vice, they're really deep into the wrestling. I mean, they have the Dark Side of the Ring. They're doing a documentary on Vince McMahon. There is going to be another show on Vice called Tales from the Territory. I'm thinking of watching that and doing some type of review on that, because honestly, it'll be a learning experience for me. Obviously I'm a huge wrestling fan, hence the show, but I don't know a lot about all the stories that happened back in the day, like in the 70s, 80s, the 60s. A lot of road stories, a lot of funny things that happened, a lot of tragic things that happened. That looks like an interesting watch. It looks like a good education, on what could have happened and what did happen. So tune in. You might want to go and maybe follow me on my Twitter account at AWN_IF. I'll probably tweet out if I'm going to do it or not there, but I mean, we'll see. Rolling right along here, we have the AEW ratings. AEW Dynamite from this Wednesday, they had a rating of 990,000. Pretty good. They almost hit that million, but I believe this is the lowest viewership that they've had since August 17th, which was just a handful of weeks. Wait, I'm sorry. That's it. August. Yeah. I'm tripping. Right. August 17th, which was just a handful of weeks ago. This is courtesy of WrestleNomics here. It's interesting because the ratings seem to be going down as if less people are watching the show. But I feel like these past 2 weeks have been the most entertaining versions of Dynamite that I've seen. The show is not tied down with the 30-minute unnecessary Young Bucks match to start the show, where everyone is just flying all around and just a whole bunch of hotspots and stupidity. The show is not held down with a long. I mean, hey, I like CM Punk. CM Punk is great. He is definitely a star of the show, but it does get to a point where it seems like it's his show. Kind of like now, it seems like it's MJF's show, but it kind of seemed like it's the CM Punk show. Everyone else was down there, and then CM Punk. But I don't understand it because it seems as if the wrestling is better now. The show is better now. It seems to be running much smoother now. But hey, you know what? Maybe those fans that are leaving just really liked the people who are gone. But we'll see in the coming weeks. I mean, when it comes to ratings, you really can't judge it on what happened this week. You have to judge it on what people do next week. So, like, did people watch the show this Wednesday, and will they come back next week? You know, that's why it's kind of tricky. If next week there's an unannounced, really, really good match, and it gets a high rating, well, the fans never really knew that match was going to happen unless they were already watching the show. And I mean, honestly, we're far past. No one's really like, hey, bro. Like, no one's calling you up and saying, hey, man, such and such is on the TV. Change the channel now. Yeah, no one's doing that. So you really kind of have to watch the show the week before and see if you're going to watch it next week. All right, you're going to have to excuse the yelling in the background. I have no way of getting that cleared out. You know, hey, such is life. It is what it is. Moving on. Still with AEW here, there were two signings. Looks like Tony Khan has signed Roosh and he has signed Bandito. I'm sure he signed Bandito, especially off the back of that Chris Jericho match that they had this past Wednesday. Once again, like I was saying, that was a showcase for Bandito. I hear people complaining. I think I was on Twitter earlier, and yeah, they're on Twitter complaining that they have a problem with Ring of Honor being featured so much on AEW. Like somebody said, I ain't trying to name names here. Someone said that they watch AEW to just watch AEW. They don't want to watch Ring of Honor, which is interesting because if you look at how AEW is structured, the entire format of the show is that they work with New Japan, they work with CMLL, they work with AAA. If they could, they would work with WWE. They work with any promotion who's willing to work with them, like the whole Forbidden Door concept. Because normally, if a wrestler is working with one promotion, he cannot have matches with the other one. But their whole thing is they want to be an inclusive product and be able to have every wrestler from different shows wrestle each other. There really is no set AEW only. Yeah, there is a set AEW roster, sure, but if you follow the individual wrestlers, they're all wrestling in different places, different companies all the time. So the notion that it's weird to have Ring of Honor on the show is, I mean, it's weird, but I like it. Because first of all, again, Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. We need to have a way to make sure that Ring of Honor stays relevant because, again, like I said yesterday, there is no Ring of Honor TV show. There is no way to watch Ring of Honor because there is no deal for it. So this is the best thing that Tony Khan can do in order to keep what is essentially a dead brand alive. He has to actually just, promote it. And this is probably the highest promotion that you will get from Ring of Honor is Chris Jericho being world's heavyweight champion. And now we have a storyline going. But we spoke on that yesterday. Today it's just, again, Bandito has been signed. That's great. Roosh has been signed. And it's good that they're signing all this talent. Now, I am wondering if people like a Bandito or Roosh, are they going to be more on the potential Ring of Honor show whenever they come to that? Probably. Because, I mean, Tony Khan is signing pretty much everyone under the sun. So, yeah, we're going to need to fill out that Ring of Honor roster whenever we get an actual TV show. And yes, when we get a TV show, I definitely will be reviewing Ring of Honor. At least that very first episode, man. I just got to see what it's going to look like. What does Tony Khan's Ring of Honor look like? I know what Ring of Honor used to look like. It was the last, probably, professional wrestling show that looked like an actual sport. So, we'll see. But moving on here. Now we're going to talk about Extreme Rules. Again, Extreme Rules is going to be next week on October 8th. So this is going to just be a preview. Basically, I just want to, do a couple of predictions to see who I feel is going to win. Just a couple of programming notes here, because whenever there's a pay-per-view, it's kind of going to shift the schedule a little bit here. So next week, I will essentially be doing shows for like I don't know, like 14 days straight almost, because Monday through Friday we're going to have the regular set of shows, and then Extreme Rules is going to be on Saturday. So that means I have to. So when I watch Extreme Rules Saturday, I'm going to put a review up for it on Sunday. Now, normally I do the review of SmackDown and Rampage. I record it during the weekend and I put it up on Monday. Well, that's going to make no sense because there would have been a show in between there. So how it's going to work, you're going to get a show on Saturday. The show on Saturday is going to be the review of SmackDown and a review of Rampage. On Sunday, you're going to get another show. It's going to be a review of Extreme Rules, and then we'll go back into our regularly scheduled program Monday through Friday. So just to note, yes, this is how this is going to work whenever there's like a pay-per-view, because otherwise, I'll fall behind because it's way too many shows, and I really don't want to have like a 4-hour show on Monday or something like that. So yeah, so next week I'm going to be, I guess, doing overtime because I'm going to be doing a show pretty much every single day for about like 14 days straight. Should be fun. But again, that's going to be typical for pay-per-views. Yeah. All right, so I'm not really going in any particular order here. I just went on WWE.com and I saw the matches that they have. It looks like there are 6 matches that are set for Extreme Rules next week. Again, if they add another match next week, I'll just talk about it on whatever the appropriate show is whenever they add the match. So, but as of right now, this is your EC. I want to say ECW because if for those who don't know, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view is just it's a branch off from the original ECW One Night Stand, which if you've never watched ECW One Night Stand, you really should go. 2005 and 2006, you really need to go and watch that match. However you watch it. I'm sure it's on Peacock, but you got to go and watch that match. As a matter of fact, I should probably do a review for that. I just might do something like that next week. We'll see. But getting back to this here, the first match I have here is going to be Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan for the WWE SmackDown Women's Tag Team Championship. This is going to be an Extreme Rules match. Now, I see what they're trying to do here. They're really working hard trying to get Liv Morgan over. They had her face Lacey Evans. And when she was facing Lacey Evans, Lacey Evans was doing this whole... She was being extremely aggressive, I guess, to help prove that Liv Morgan is an extreme competitor when she faces Ronda Rousey. So here's how I feel like this match is going to work out. Liv Morgan is going to win. I feel like there might be some chicanery, some tomfoolery, some nonsense. Something's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan is going to win. In our reality, when she wins, it's probably going to be some type of, let's say, trickery. Maybe she, I don't know, tapes Ronda Rousey down to the mat. Now she can't kick out. It'd be something like that. It's not going to be her beating and destroying, Ronda Rousey, former UFC champion. Little Liv Morgan is not going to be going in there and destroying Ronda Rousey. I mean, if we really want to be fair, if you think about the last 2 times that Liv Morgan won, it was with an asterisk. Sure, she won the first time, but she cashed in Money in the Bank. I mean, everyone who cashed in Money in the Bank is with an asterisk because the champion is like broken down and destroyed. And it's like, oh, here comes the briefcase. And I can't even remember what happened the second time that she won, but it was also some type of it was some type of nonsense. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but yeah, Liv Morgan is going to retain. Something's going to happen, but we're still going to have Liv Morgan as the champion. Right after that, I have Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. This is going to be a ladder match. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be match of the night. This is going to be This is going to be Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 10. Okay, I'm being a little bit extra here, but I think it's going to be a really good match. Let's go to something that's more recent. This is going to be Bayley herself versus Sasha Banks, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2. I think I referenced this match a few days ago because it was a really good match, and I feel like that's what we're going to get here again. We're going to get with Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match. I see no reason why it can't be a great match. Both women know how to work. Bianca Belair has really been impressing me as a champion, and I mean Bayley, she's a veteran at this point who knows how to go in there and have a great match with just about anyone, and she can't have a better opponent than Bianca Belair. So we got Bianca Belair winning in what should be an excellent match. All right, up next, we have Matt Riddle facing Seth Rollins in the Fight Pit. This is probably one of the few matches that warrants a stipulation. Look, I understand that this is Extreme Rules, so every single match is going to have some type of extreme and deadly stipulation. But as I'm going to explain in later matches, some of these things are just clearly thrown together for the sake of the pay-per-view. But this works because I like the way that they have been building up the Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins program. Like they're doing what they can to make it feel as real as possible. First of all, because it probably kind of is. If you remember, there have been like real interviews with Seth Rollins, more or less, saying that he will never work with Riddle. He hates Riddle. There's something about Riddle that he just doesn't like. And these are regular interviews. Now, I mean, it's a chance that Seth Rollins could just be a genius and he's just working everybody. And he knew that there was going to be a program, so he just put it out in the atmosphere and was just doing interviews. That's possible. But if that is what he's doing, it worked, because anyone who's watching this show now and who really, kind of goes deep into the wrestling news and things like that, they think that Seth Rollins really hates Matt Riddle. And that's why they're really playing it up. Like you see it whenever they have when they had the interview, that they had the side-by-side interview a handful of weeks ago. And then when they did that, the interview was over, it cut, and then it was supposed to be as if that there was a commercial break. But during that break, you heard, what did Rollins say? I think Rollins mentioned something about the fact that Matt Riddle was divorced and how sad it was that his wife left him. But it wasn't in like a ha-ha way. It was like, yeah, bitch, that's why your wife left you. Like, it was like non-wrestling. It was like, damn, you can't say that. On TV. I think Rollins made a reference about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' daughter. So he was like, yeah, at least I have a wife. Something to that effect, But again, it was being shot and phrased as, this is real. Like, yeah, we'll do what we got to do on camera, but when the cameras ain't rolling, I want to tell you how I really feel like a man. So it being in a fight pit, first of all, Matt Riddle's going to win. I'm just going to get right to that. I have Matt Riddle winning for sure. It's a fight pit. Again, if you've never seen the fight pit, go back and watch NXT. Watch Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa in that fight pit match that they had. The fight pit is really meant to emulate a traditional UFC style match with the cage. Like, you're surrounded by the cage. You're like in a pit. Here's the fight pit name. So it is right up Matt Riddle's alley. Although, let me actually, as I'm saying this, let me take something back here. I think Matt Riddle should win, but I think Seth Rollins will win. There's probably going to be something's going to happen. Somebody's going to come out. There's going to be some type of distraction. Somebody's going to cheat a low blow. Something's going to happen, but Riddle should win, but I'm pretty sure Rollins will win. So that's the prediction here. We have Seth Rollins winning the fight pit match. Up next, it looks like we have Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. Again, I've been saying this for weeks now. I do not understand what the motivation is for Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross re-debuts weeks ago. He walks out to the ring. We see Drew McIntyre, and then we see Roman Reigns, the current WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. And instead of going after the world champion, he goes after the guy who lost to the world champion. Why would you go after the loser? What's the purpose? Why would you be like, you know what? I want to fight that guy. I want to fight the guy that's second best. It's like a weird obsession. Maybe at some point they'll explain it. Maybe he, I don't know, kicked his dog one time or something, or he did some foul. I'm not sure, but it's ridiculous. I just don't understand why he would go after, why Karrion Kross would go after Drew McIntyre. But with all that being said, the feud itself, outside of the confusion of how it started, the feud itself has been really good. Even last week, I believe, when Scarlett tried to throw the fireball at Drew McIntyre's face, and now apparently when the fireball missed, everything after that was improv, because looking at how it happened, what probably was meant to happen was she throws the fireball, now he's on the ground, hurt and on fire, just injured completely, right? And then it probably would have been while McIntyre's on the ground, hurt and injured. Then we would have saw Karrion Kross lock him into the cross jacket, which he did. But of course, this was after Scarlett hit him with the low blow because, again, they had to improvise because the fireball didn't work. I'm glad that they did not insult our intelligence and he just falls down, my face, and you can clearly see it was missed. Anyone could see that it was missed. But, hey, that's the difference in professionals and people who are pretending to be wrestlers. Yeah. So after that, it looks like we're going to have, this match was just announced, I believe it was earlier today. It's going to be the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a Donnybrook match. I have no idea what the hell a Donnybrook match is, but since this is Extreme Rules, I'm just going to assume it's probably just going to be a street fight with a whole bunch of stuff around the ring that's pertaining to each person's culture. Maybe to be like stuff from a bar, stuff from Ireland, stuff from Russia. I don't know. That's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be a street fight with a whole bunch of stuff where they can throw people through tables, throw beer on people, just that type of nonsense. Not a serious match, but doesn't matter. I believe Imperium, is going to win. And I know most people will probably think the Brawling Brutes are going to win because their momentum is up and all that, but I think Imperium is going to take it here because, I don't know, man, I just can't see Walter. I just can't see Gunther taking too many L's. I mean, yeah, he has beat Sheamus. He keeps beating Sheamus. But there's a Gunther and Sheamus match, I believe is it next week or is it 2 weeks from now? I think it's next week. So we'll see what happens then. But yeah, I got Imperium winning this match. And then the last match I have here, at least the one I have set here, Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. Now, I got mixed feelings about this because, first of all, an I Quit match is my favorite match to watch. I mean, one of the greatest I Quit matches of all time was, of course, Tully Blanchard versus Magnum TA Starrcade, 1986. What made that match so good? First of all, listen to what it said. 1986. This is the year 2022. That match still holds up as one of the greatest I Quit matches you could have. It couldn't have been more simple. You had two guys who there was a story built up where they absolutely hated each other. They're locked in a steel cage, and it's just a ridiculous display of just violence, not a whole bunch of flips, a whole bunch of random stuff going on. It's just two dudes who don't like each other. And I mean, I believe there was one weapon in there, at least one main weapon, a screwdriver. This is 1986, and we have people. It was a pretty violent match for the time. And I bring that up to say that what type of animosity has Edge and Finn Balor have that warrants an I Quit match? When you have an I Quit match, it is probably it's the most demoralizing match that you can have. To be in the ring with another man and tell him, you know what, I quit. You're better than me. I mean, the hatred has to be on another level because the things you have to be in storyline, the things you have to be willing to do to another man in order to make them say, I quit, it's supposed to be ridiculous. And I mean, yeah, Edge was in the Judgment Day, and he recruited Finn Balor, and then Finn Balor and the entire Judgment Day beat him up and kicked him out the group. Yeah, when Edge comes back, they jump him and they get rid of him. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because Edge, it's two things. It's because Edge hasn't really done enough to promote the fact that they're having an I Quit match, or I don't feel like that's the ultimate blow off for this feud. And then again, it's like, it's just not enough build. Again, this was presented. They said that they're going to have this match this week. They just now said this. Extreme Rules is next week. It is October 8th. This is a match that you build up for weeks and weeks and weeks. This is your main event. This is at least a feature match on the card, and it's not. I mean, it should be the main event because Roman Reigns is not wrestling on this show. His next scheduled match is going to be in Saudi Arabia against Logan Paul. So what's going to be the main event of this show? An I Quit match works for me, but honestly, as I'm saying this now, looking at the list I have for the matches here, what's the main event? The main event, I guess, has to be Edge versus Finn Balor, but man, it just has not been built up enough to be a main event, but I guess it's going to have to be. But I have Edge winning. Edge is going to win. He's going to defeat Finn Balor. But what does that mean? Because after he defeats Finn Balor, then we just go back to the show as usual, and Finn Balor is still the quote-unquote leader of the Judgment Day, even though Damian Priest looks more like a leader, which is hilarious because Damian Priest is relatively new. But he looks like he has more of a presence than Finn Balor ever could. But shit, Rhea Ripley looks like she has more of a presence than Finn Balor could. But hey, I digress. But I got Edge winning. He's going to do whatever he needs to. Somehow he's going to make Finn Balor quit, and Edge wins. So now that's all the matches that we have for Extreme Rules. There is one thing that I want to bring up that is just a rumor. You're not going to find this on any reports. You're not going to find this on any website. This is potential breaking news. Not really. It's just my opinion. But I feel like we're going to have Bray Wyatt show up on Extreme Rules next week. I mean, why not? It's Extreme Rules. It's this extreme horror show type of situation going on here. Why wouldn't he show up? If, in fact, the White Rabbit breadcrumbs that they're having us go on is leading us to Bray Wyatt, why wouldn't we see Bray Wyatt? I am predicting it here. You heard it here first. September 30th, 2022 on Action Wrestling News. Bray Wyatt is going to show up at Extreme Rules. Now, how he's going to show up is a different question because he has many different personalities now. He's the Fiend. I do not think that they should go back to the Fiend character. Bray Wyatt is a talker. He's this cult leader with this charisma that can get you to do anything. He does not need to be this monster Kane type of figure situation going on here. Bray Wyatt works best when he is the crazy cult leader man who can just sway you and just force you to do whatever that he needs you to do. But you're hearing it right here live. No, I'm just playing around. But you're hearing it right here. Bray Wyatt is going to come back. So that's the show. And here we are. That's the show for tonight. The next time you will be hearing my voice, it will be Monday. We will be doing a review on SmackDown and AEW Rampage and anything that has happened in the next 2 days. And then, of course, once the show starts Monday, I'm going to be running for essentially 14 days straight. Is that right? Because Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5, 6, 7. Yes, about 14 days straight or so. We're going to be running, so it's going to be a marathon. So I'm going to, be in my Hulk Hogan. Well, maybe Hulk Hogan is a bad reference for what I'm about to say here. But I am going to have to relax and get ready because it's going to be a fun week of wrestling. these next 2 weeks. You're going to get a lot of shows, a lot of insight, and I hope we keep it right here. Remember to follow me. And if you would like to follow us on Twitter, please do so at AWN_IF. If you would like to email the show, please do so at actionwrestlingnews@gmail.com. Also, check out our website at actionwrestlingnews.podbean.com. If you would like to support the show, you can do so again via PayPal. There will be a link in the show notes. If you find a link, I just completely destroyed the read. Let's run that back again. There will be a link in the show notes, and you can find a link on actionwrestlingnews.podbean.com. Remember, if you are looking for action, wrestling, and news, keep it right here every Monday through Friday. Have a great day, everyone.